So as you improve your React apps, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be adding animations to improve the interface. Luckily, React has a great animation add-on. Now, version 1 of this was managed as part of the core React group, but this has since been passed on to the community. So I'm going to be talking about version 2 of the React Animation Addon. If you were to install this today, if you were adding this plugin, this React Transition Group, so yarn add React Transition Group or npm install React Transition Group, if you weren't specifying a version, you're going to be getting version 2 of this project. So with version 2, everything that I'm talking about here, this is the latest version. It's got different imports if you're using the old version, so be very careful about which version you're using. A lot of the resources that you find online right now will be for version 1 of this when it was still part of React. Okay, so moving on. There are 3 things that you can import: Transition, CSS Transition, and TransitionGroup. Transition is the low-level interface. This is the thing that has all the lifecycle events, so it's running behind the scenes. Most of the time, you're not going to use this. This would be if you wanted to know when something was leaving the screen and you wanted to run some JavaScript based on that event, but you didn't want to do anything with the CSS. So very rare that you would use that. CSS Transition gives you everything that Transition has, plus the ability to manipulate the CSS. So this will be what you use most of the time. Now, if you've got a group of elements, if you want to do transitions on a whole bunch of items inside of a list or a series of paragraphs, a series of images, then you would wrap all this in a transition group. So this is the outer component, and then CSS Transition would be the individual items inside of here. So these are the 2 that I'm bringing in. CSS Transition, again, gives me everything that is in transition. All right, now my page, very simple. I have an array of words, and I'm going to write those out as paragraphs on the page, and I'm going to wrap them. Each one of these paragraphs is going to have a CSS transition around it, and then there's a transition group around the collection. So we'll take a look at the code here. Here's my transition group. I've got no properties whatsoever on it. I just have a transition group wrapped around my array map. This is the thing that's going to write out the elements. And here's my CSS transition. I need to have this inside the map because I'm adding one CSS transition element for each one of these paragraphs that I'm adding to my page. So we're building all of this again and again. Now you will run into problems if you put your map inside of here. We have to attach one CSS transition to one element. And for this to work properly, for this transition group to be able to control all of them individually, we have to add a key in here. So we should have a key on the paragraph, and we should also have a key on the CSS transition. Now I'm just using the index with a prefix put in front of it. That's absolutely fine. And then the key, I'm using my index here. I'm not doing much with them. All I'm doing is I'm going to click on it and remove it from the page. So other things that we have inside of here, we have a timeout. We have a property called in, and this is going to be set to true to say that we do want these things added to the page. The timeout, this is the total amount of time for any of the this is for any of the 3 phases, so any one of the 3 phases that we have. Appear, enter, and exit. Those are the 3 things. By default, we are not going to be using the appear. So if you just say CSS Transition on this thing, you don't get the appear by default unless you come in here and you say, hey, you know what? I want to have appear be part of this. So I'm going to leave that off for the moment just to get started, but we will come back and add that in. By default, you get the enter and exit phases. Enter. All right, you have an existing page, you're adding something onto it. That is the enter phase. When it's first starting to be created, enter active. This is a CSS class that gets added immediately afterwards, and then your transition would really take place between the active and the done. This phase right here, enter done, this means that I finished adding it to the page, and I finished running your CSS transitions to go from active to done. So I've added it to the page, I'm starting to run the CSS transitions, and then with done is I've finished running the CSS transitions. Now, it's using this number to figure out when that is done. So in your CSS, you want to make sure that the total time, the total maximum time between the duration and the delay, that total time equals this total time. All right, now, class names, this property. I have in here defined the 8 different possible stages, and I've assigned a CSS class name to each one. And you can see there's kind of a pattern here. I followed that pattern in my CSS. But these names will be created if all I put inside of CSS class names is the word example, like that. So I say class names equals example. All these other ones will automatically be created by CSS Transition. So it will append -appear when that is happening, and then appear active will be appended once it started showing this. Example enter, enter active, enter done, exit, exit active, exit done. So all these will be automatically created if you just set this to example, like that. All right, so I'm saying example. That is going to automatically add and remove CSS class names to this element that I have inside of here. In my CSS, I've defined all these different classes. Enter, enter active, enter done, exit, exit active, exit done, appear, appear active. There is no appear done. I put it in here just as an example so that I could write this comment. It doesn't exist. So I guess I should show you. All right, let's take a look at the page and see what's happening here. So here's my page. When I click on one of these elements, it goes to purple, and then it fades away to nothing, and then it's removed from the page. I click on going. I'm removing it from state, so I'm removing that element from here, and the CSS transition is just automatically taking place for me. My on-click handler up here, I'm getting the text from that component. I'm writing remove that. So remove on, remove going. And then I'm just running a filter on the array that's coming from state. I'm removing that element and I'm updating state. So I'm updating the array, which will rerun my map of that state. And that means that this is being recreated. Now, CSS Transition and TransitionGroup, what they are doing for me is when I add something to the screen, when I remove something to the screen, so if I added something to state, or if I remove something from state, and this runs again, it's going to keep track of the fact that one of these elements is being added or removed from the screen. The way it does that is by applying these CSS classes. So I am, when I remove something, I'm changing this element right here. It's getting this example exit and then example exit active class added. When it's finished, it adds example exit done. And after that, it removes it from the screen. So it's there until it's done. I mean, the element is still on the screen until this part is finished. When this class has been added, it knows it's safe to actually remove it from the DOM. So I could put something else here, but it's only there for a millisecond. You don't really see it. But this is the trigger to know when it's done. Okay, so we have enter and exit. Enter is when you're adding something to an existing component. Exit when you're removing something. Appear is on initial load. So let's add this one. We'll come in here and we'll say appear is true. And that means I want to have the appear classes added in here as well. So they're going to run through fuchsia. So when example appear active, fuchsia is going to be the color immediately. And what will happen is when the active part is done, we will get this enter done being applied. So it's going to switch from the fuchsia to this light green color. Here's the green, so I'll refresh so we can see it. Here's the active, it fades in the opacity, and when it's finished adding it, when that CSS transition is done, it switches to the enter done. And that class, if we come in here and we look at one of these, so here's the transition group component. There we go, here's the CSS, there's the transition thing that CSS transition is extending, and here's the paragraph tag right here. And you can see here's the properties. So appear is set to true, timeout 2500, enter and exit. Appear, enter, and exit. Those are the things that we're managing with CSS Transition. Okay. Now let's come back in here and, oh yes, the scripts. Now something that CSS Transition inherits from the transition is the ability to build our own hooks. So we can, actually I've got them in the comments down here, we can add these things into our CSS transition element. So inside here, we can add all of these. Let's line them up, there we go. This gives us a hook into it to say, all right, when this phase happens, the on enter happens, I want to run this JavaScript. When the entering or entered or exit or exiting, exited, when those things happen, I want to run some function. So I'm just going to make this a simple arrow function, and I will console log on enter like that. Okay, we'll copy that. Just do a little bit of copy and paste to add it to all these elements. Entering, entered, on exit, on exited, on exiting. There we are. Now you can see we had 4 enter, 4 entering, and 4 entered as these things were added to this page. When I click on them to remove them, there we go. On exit, on exited, and on exiting. Or did I put those backwards? I did. I put these backwards. That's why they came up like that. So exiting and exited. You probably noticed that before I did. Refresh this. There we go. Enter, entering, entered, on, exit, exited. Yeah, okay. Not sure why those came up backwards. In any case, so we have these hooks, and the appear events will also trigger this. So enter and entering will be triggered by appear and appearing. Entered will be triggered itself because there is no appeared. There's only the entered. And that's why in the CSS, like I was saying before, we don't have the class name appear done. At this phase, we're getting the example enter done. So it's the enter done class that's being applied at the end. That will be the trigger right here for exited. Okay, so that is CSS Transition, and doing it with a whole bunch of things inside of TransitionGroup. If you just wanted to do one thing, there was one element that you wanted to add, we could do that very quickly. So on my H1, let's create a CSS Transition. We'll set in to true, appear to true. We want it to happen on the appear state. We can add timeout. Let's set it to 1000. And I'm using curly braces around here just in case you're wondering why I'm not putting quotation marks around this or these. I want these to be actual numeric or Boolean values. That's why we have the curly braces and not quotation marks. And class names, plural, very important here. The class names that I want, let's just put HHH for header, and then we'll end our CSS transition right here. Okay, so we've wrapped a CSS transition around this H1. We've said that we want to use it when it's being added to the page for the first time on initial load. That's what this appear means. By default, we get the enter and we get the exited. So all of these will be created. Let's come down here. Let's create the HHH appear, and we can say .hhh dash appear active, and we'll go to hhh appear, or actually, sorry, enter done. Those are going to be the three states that we're going to go through. We just want to do something while it's loading. So we'll set color to, we'll do something very noticeable. Red, and we won't see that red. It's there for such a little period of time. And blue, or green. There we go. Red, gold, then green. Those are the three colors. So we're not seeing anything yet. Oh, it should be there. Oh, okay, it did work. There we are. So there's, oh, okay, there we go. So red we didn't see. The gold was there briefly, and then after the 1 second it switched over to the green. We don't have a transition happening, but it is showing us those different classes. So for 1 second it was gold, and then it turned to green. Now we can add in here a transition if we want to make it actually transition between those two of them. So let's say we want to transition the color property, and we want it to take whatever time this is. So I can say 1 second, or I can say 1000 milliseconds, and we'll do it in a linear fashion. That'll be our timing function. Oh, there we go. So we did see red very briefly. So the red switched to the gold, switched to the green. Oh yeah, it's jumping through the gold very quickly. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we are going from red, gold, green. It's just happening very quickly there. We're losing some of the transition because it is jumping from the red over to the gold. Let's comment these ones out just to show the gold. There, so it goes from the default black to gold to green, but it's such a quick transition that it's hard to notice. Let's bump this up to 2 seconds. Make it easier for us to see. There we go. Improving a little bit. Okay, so that is the basics of CSS Transition and TransitionGroup. Please experiment with them. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of things to keep track of, like your timeouts, what you have inside of here, what you're using inside your CSS, keeping those things in sync. Whether you've got one element or you've got multiple elements, making sure you're doing your mapping to build your components outside of the CSS transition. Don't put it inside of here. Keep in mind you've got all of these additional things that you can add inside of here. I'm going to, yeah, I'll leave them in there for the code just for you. So there's a lot of moving parts. You've got the JavaScript running with the timeouts, you've got the CSS transitions that are running, and the more of these things that you have on your page, the more load there's going to be on the processor to make sure that all these things are happening. So if you have a ton of things happening, the likelihood that things are going to be happening or not being quite as nice as you want, or doing things at exactly the right moment that you want, there's always that possibility the more things that you add to the page. So please take some time and experiment with this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. I will do what I can to help you. And as always, thanks for watching.